Okay.
Tell us, what's your connection with Judah?
What's my connection with the dewdrop? Well, that's where I started working toward my professionalism. You know, at the time before I went to the dewdrop, I was playing little clubs. You know, like $10. I didn't know that much about playing that much. Maybe three or four cards, the most. And then I was like, come home and put clothes on and all these fine things and go out there and sing. So I started, playing around like singing spirituals with a group that called the True Loving Folk Singers. And nobody wanted to play guitar in the band in the group, so I chose to learn how to play the guitar. So from there, I got really good at it. And so come to find out, Johnny Adams was one of the main factors in that part of my life. So he actually told my mom that could he take me under his wing, you know. And she said, well, what you gonna do? She said, well, I'm gonna bring him over, because he was at the Dewdrop way before I was. He was doing this nightly singing. And so what he did was he told me, he said, well, he brought me to the Dewdrop and got me my first room. And my dad, well, you know, how you gonna pay his rent and all that stuff? I was nothing. A little $10 a night wasn't nothing them days. So he told me, he said, well, I'm gonna put him with the house band. So at that time, the band, the songs that were being played at that time, you only had three changes. The one, the four, and the five, and very seldom the six. It's very seldom. So it was kind of easy for me to get into, the band and stuff. And then I was a nice guy, and people liked me, so it was kind of cool for me to go and sit in with the cats, and learn their songs and learn how to play. And then Johnny, he would come, we'd sit down and you know, kicks, because they had some at that time. It was like flow shows. You had your MC, then you had your dancers that come out and do their little thing. Then you have your artists and different artists to come out and stuff. So you had your curtains, you open and close your curtains and stuff. So it was more like a real nightclub thing. And I didn't know too much about that anyway. But it was, exciting to me, which I was more about 18. I had just made about 18, so it was kind of cool. Which I didn't like sitting out there in the audience, because, it was kind of kicks the way the old people would be out there. So mostly what I did was sit in the dressing room with the band members and stuff like that. So we really had a good time starting it off. But then, keyboard player, which an organ player, drummer, bass player, and guitar player, and one sax. You see. But when they changed it over, they had two horns instead of one horn. And it was kind of weird, playing, with more than one horn, like that. But it was fun, man.
So which years are you talking about? What kind of period?
Well, that would be around the late 50s, early 60s, something like in that area. You know, it was, in them days, you had mixed crowds. You had mixed crowds, but you didn't. Other than the dewdrop, it wasn't allowed to socialize anywhere else. The dewdrop was one of the places for black musicians and all musicians to come through there. And Frank was something else. He was the kind of cat. He'd give you heart, give me his heart. If you could, play music. You couldn't play music. No, you can't play here no more. That's the way he was. And he was really, a nice dude. But if you could play, and you was a good person, he would let you stay there and work. See, that's how we would pay our rent. There, you see, we ate free. You know, you had the restaurant there. You know, you go down to the restaurant and get you something to eat now. But you had to work. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. You know what I'm saying? That was the way you were paid. You know, you got paid. Which he did give you a few dollars, you know, to put in your pocket, but it wasn't wait, $30, $40, you know. That was plenty of money in them days, you know, to cash, you know. And then you get tips and stuff like that. And so that kind of helped them too. But musicians, man, they had musicians come. If a musician came to New Orleans and didn't come to the things, you know, it was. Then they had another performer came through there. She would come through there. Well, she would come through there. Like maybe twice a month, you know, traveling, Escarita and the Escarettes, you know, they would come through there, and boy, that was kicks too. The female impersonator would, you know, she had played the organ, and then she had 3 girls, you know, they'd be singing behind her and shit. You know, you talking about fun? It was fun in the day.
Should I give you a tissue so you can?
No, I'm pretty cool.
Are you okay?
All right,
You're
all
right,
right.
'cause I can give you
No, man. No, I'm pretty cool.
So how frequently would you perform with a house band?
Well, the band played at least 6 nights a week. The band played. They had something going on there 6 nights a week. See, if an artist came through there, you see, he had to work a whole week. You know, he just couldn't work no 1 or 2 days. You know, he had to work the whole week. So basically, you know, if he didn't have his own band, then when the house band, you know, couldn't make it, we would play it. That's when things started changing over, you know.
When did it change?
Oh, say around the 70s. I think it was around the 70s because Frank was still alive at that time, you know, but he wasn't as active as he was in the beginning. He was less active then, but I think his nephew, one of them was trying to, you know, it was like they had different, you know, things going on at that time. So I didn't really, you know, get involved into the business of it. You know.
But Frank and Paul?
Yeah, Paul was his brother. Yeah, Paul ran the kitchen. You see, Paul, that man could cook some red bread, boy. That man, I'm telling you, it tastes better than Popeyes. He ran Popeyes out of business, he was still been a living, you know. See, I mean, and then he piled it up, you know, piled it up. Now see, anybody that comes into the restaurant that wasn't there, that didn't stay there to do the job, it only cost them $1.50 for a plate of red beans. Well, it was cheap, but, you know, everybody was there, but, you know, stayed there mostly, you know, stayed there.
Tell me about that, because earlier on you said they had rooms upstairs. Sorry.
And
Let's just wait for 1 second. Sorry about that.
yeah.
Okay, let's just start again. Just tell me about the room.
Yeah, but you see, Earl Kane was living. Earl Kane could tell you more about the rooms because in every room, he had holes in the rooms, you know, where you could go look in the room and see, you know, what's going on. And if he caught you doing something, he wrote it down in his little book. You know, yeah, his book where he wrote down stuff, took pictures and shit. Because it's a black man, you know, he had to do something, you know. So Earl had most of the records of all what was going on in the hotel. That's basically.
Anything on you?
No, I didn't. I was in with Earl, so I was the youngest one around there, so he knew I wasn't going to do nothing. I was into nothing. And then my room was on the end. You see, I could see everything going on. I was a good friend with all of them. Yeah, every one of them. The most one that was really, that really hung there mostly was Earl, Booker, Big Jill Turner, who else? Well, a lot of them. All them guys. Mostly you had more horn players and keyboard players than anything that would stay there. You know. It was something else there. To tell about it, you have to really be there to see Because every day something was going on different, you know what I'm saying? Every day. And the artists would come to there, and Frank will give them their rooms, and then time to give them their room, they had to go to work. You know, if they coming in town for a while, you know, they had to go to work. But I had fun just being there, because it was really, you know, to me it was a treat, because I had never been around none of those kind of things before. You know, when I went on the road with Lee, that's when everything started really moving fast, you know, because when I came back, things had really changed around. You know, you had 3 or 4 bands coming in, you know, and stuff like that. And most of the cast that was in the house band, they had either went somewhere else or died off, you know, or something like that. So it really went through its changes. Then when I think his daughter took it over, it kind of went down a little bit, you know. People stopped coming, and then they started closing it up, opening it up like on the weekends and stuff, and that kind of hurted it a little bit, you know. Which the neighborhood, and was really, you know, for to say that they had so much going on, you know, the neighborhood was not too cool, you know. You had the project on one side, you know, and there was always something going on there. But it never did have no trouble. You know, you never had no trouble in the dewdrop. You know, people would come miles around, you know, they would come right there. Everybody would have a good time and stuff, you know. Never got any interference from anything else. You know.
Why do you think that was the case? Why was the dewdrop kind of like a safe haven for everyone?
Well, most of it because of Frank. See, Frank, he had a real good pull with the police and stuff. So if anything was to come up, which nothing did come up in the club, you know, but if anything outside the club, anything would happen outside the club, he would call and they'd be right there in a minute. Yeah, so really, you know, people felt very safe at the dewdrop. You know, you didn't have to worry about somebody mugging you or beating you up or something like that, you know. And then, you know, everybody that came through there, you know, all the musicians and stuff, we all was friends with one another. So it really didn't have too much really going on with anything else but having fun, you know. That was really nice.
So what are your fondest memories from the dewdrop days?
Well, only 2 that I can remember. But the last time Escarita came through there, I was working with this group called the TikToks. They was here Smith and the Clowns, but they left here and struck out on their own. So they wanted a guitar player. They asked me would I mind playing with them, you know. So I didn't mind. So, and they was a bunch of crazy cats. I mean, they was crazy, man. Them cats would fight before the gig, fight during the gig, and after the gig, arguing, you know, not fist fighting and stuff, but arguing and stuff, you know. So what happened once, this particular time, the John Williams, he was the leader of the band, the group. He said, well, Walter, what you think about we put on a show and pretend we the Escarita and the Escarettes? I said, I don't know about that. You know, so after a while I thought about it. I told my mama, she said, Jenny, I got the right dress for you. I said, wait a minute, I didn't wear a dress. Last time I wore a dress, I was about 7 years old, you know. I had did something I had no business, you know. And my mama put a dress on and put me on the front porch. All my little friends passed watching me with this dress on. That was the first time I ever put a little dress on. But I was grown then, you know, put on a dress. I thought about it. And I said, Jenny, I got the... Yeah, I was about the only kicks that I can remember, you know. That's been so far back there, you know. It's been a long ways back there, you know. Yeah.
How do you remember, I mean, you already told me about the stage having been on one side and then having changed. How did the dewdrop inn look like from the interior other than that? What was there?
Well, you mostly had tables. Yeah, more tables and everything. You know, the bar was when you walk in the door. You walk in the door, you're gonna see the bar. You got the chairs and stuff. And on that side, you had the stage, and all from that part all the way back, say about as long as the maple is. You had number of tables with white tablecloths and you know your candles and stuff like that. It was really.
Sounds classy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Back then, in those days,
Hmm.
I, what I can judge, the music had a different meaning in those days. How,
Well, yeah, well, in them days you didn't have, as they call funk. You had nothing but blues. I mean, not strictly blues stuff. If you and jazz. That's those two things were the only thing you really could hear in those days was blues and jazz. You know, and Dudley was famous for the blues because all of the cats, Charles Brown, all these cats came through there. Fast Dime, he came through there. Yeah. I mean, I saw a bunch of them come through there. Trust me, I did. I saw a bunch of them. And then after a while, then later on, you start seeing where they had got big. And just and when the thing about you to play with these cats when they wasn't that big, I said, wow, this cat really got that, huh? He really got up there. So it was like seeing it happen, and didn't believe it was gonna come to pass as something that's big. All the people, they were just think it was regulars, just regular cats. And you look at them, and when you look at them, you say, oh man, that cat couldn't do nothing. Then you get up on that stage and say, wow, listen to that. And then you see cats flipping and dancing and stuff like that. And that was a treat, for me, because me being young, I didn't know nothing about all that stuff. See, when I came back to New Orleans, I was like 21 years old. I left when I was 19. Let's see. So when I left, shit, that's when things started happening. And then after a while, we had other clubs started opening up, and then people started, the musicians started going to different clubs and stuff. Then when Frank died, they really just stopped because, it wasn't being run right. People wasn't getting the right attention and stuff like that. Frank was getting. Frank would come personally and let you know that you're doing all right, and stuff. But it started falling down, but eventually, some people be right back again because the show had to start. The only day that they closed all day was Sunday, when people went to church and stuff like that. But other than that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it would open. And you had entertainment every night, every night. They had They had a club that opened up called the 808 Club. Right after that, that's when musicians started going there. But the Dewdrop kept it open. The Dewdrop kept the musicians open. The jam sessions was always the best because you had a lot of musicians that came up that wasn't able to perform that night, but they could play on the jam session. So you had cats coming in at all hours, and stuff, playing, having, just being there, Definitely.
must have helped sort of to create a bit of a community and friendships as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, all the musicians that came to the Dewdrop, if they didn't like it, you wouldn't stay there. Yeah, you had to leave. They wouldn't let you stay there. And Frank, they go to Frank and tell him what you're doing, and Frank will come put you out himself. Oh yeah, it was really, really close knit family, man. Especially the people that stayed there. Cause this guy, the trumpet player Hawk, he was there. He stayed there for the longest. He was there when I came there. And they had another cat named Sugar Boy. He played drums. He was there when I got there. Then they had the organ player, Sammy Boyford, he's dead now, but he was there. Oh, another incident came through where one night Jimmy Smith came through. Him and Jimmy Smith tied up for like 2 hours. Them two just played battling one another and stuff like that. He had different. Oh man, it was. If you could get through the Dewdrop, you could go anywhere. You just had to get because in them days you had a battle. That's what the jam session was about, battling. But they call it the respect. If you got respect for another cat, what he can do, boom, it's cool. Don't get mad at the cat because he can play better than you. Just go home and learn some more stuff. So you can be able to compete. So it was fun like that too. cats, would come, man. That cats come all over, man. Gotta go to the drop, bro. Gotta go do this, gotta do that. You go to the do drop, you really came to, really got the full measure of everything that's going on there, because the musicians was very nice, and then you had Earl with the head man, you get through Earl, you're all right, Earl with the head man. He'd tell you that, man, you mess up, got you. He showed his little book. I got you in my book, bro. Well, he had stuff on everybody in that band. You couldn't get away with nothing in the do job. Somehow or another, the word to get around. Oh yeah, it was really tight. Cats would have just about anything you want. It was it was quiet, but then it was noisy too. You had different people coming through, and the crowds always you had a crowd every night. It never was an empty house at the do job. Never. And then you could go in there and get your half a pint, and, 2 Cokes, your lemon, your ice and stuff. You pay about $10, for a setup. So it was, you had everything you needed right there. You didn't have to worry about it, and you had good people waiting on you. And it was, then you had good entertainment all night. You didn't have to worry about that. You had mostly, female impersonators. They was mostly all of them was there. If you wanted to find them, that's where they would be at. And they were, they was nice people.
Tell me about the crowd that you just mentioned. Just describe who came to the
Well, you had all types, white, black, all of them. It was a mixed crowd all the time. All the time. From the time I recognized it was, they were always. And you never had no arguments or anything. Everybody was treated fairly and nice and stuff. And half the time you wouldn't know who was in there because there was so many people in there, You can walk around, but, they had loud dancing and good dancing. And, if you just wanted to sit and drink and watch the show, you watch the show. But you had your dance floor in the middle of the club, so with the people that were sitting down, they could see what was going on in the bandstand without the people dancing in front of them and stuff like that. So it was really decked out right, definitely.
It's quite amazing that white people were allowed to go.
Well, that was the only club that they could go in, in that area, Frank didn't care who you were, as long as you paid. You paid to get in, you can come on in. It was one of those things. We had a lot of musicians that were white would come in and jam and stuff like that. It was really an open place, really open. And then too, Frank was the kind of person, he didn't care what race you was, as long as you can come in and have a good time, he didn't care what you were, He was really a nice person. Definitely. A nice person.
Can you memorize any songs or can you recall any titles of songs that were?
Well, they played so many of them. The only one I can remember is the song that Land of a Thousand Dances. That was one of them. Then this thing, Earl had a lot of songs that he was doing. I can think of that he did. Mama and Papa, stuff like that. Then he had, oh man, they had so many of them old songs. Yeah, but they had most of the artists, the original artists would come in there. And, Charles Brown and all them cats, they would come through there, sing their little things. He came through there kind of regular, Especially around Christmas time, he'd come through there and tear up the house. Because he had all the nice Christmas songs and stuff. And Big Joe Turner, he would come through there. And Chris, what's his name? Chris Kenner, he would come through there with his songs and stuff. We had a lot of regulars, people, the local people that really catered, that stayed there, that would mostly be there, most of the time. But I just loved it just to be in the band. I do my little thing, go upstairs. I didn't hang too much when I was there. Most of the thing I hung in the kitchen, eating. That is. That's most of what I did. Hung out every now and then. I hung out, jam. If I knew the cast that was jamming, then I hang out with Earl and all of them. I didn't participate too much of it there. 'Cause I was still young. So, but when I came back, everybody was gone. I said, wow, what's happening?
So how young were you actually? How old were you when you played?
When I played the doo-wop, I was just beginning to get the 18. Just because I started playing when I was 16. And I got my first job when I made 18 to go in there. And when I left when I was about 20. Yeah, about 20. That's when I went on the road with Lee and stayed out there with him. And it was, I had a great time. I really did have a great time. It was some nice things happening. And then, you saw a lot of domestic problems going on a lot because most of the cats were there with their wives and stuff like that. So you heard a lot of that, going on. But other than that, that's about it. You couldn't hear nothing else, because everybody kept to themselves, most of the time. Sometimes it was time to play music, and then everybody just swarm together, and like that. That's the way most of it was.
But you must have been one of the youngest.
Yeah, I was.
How come?
Yeah, I was the youngest, one of the youngest ones there. We had like Curly Moore. He was there. He was young. We both was about the same age. Yeah, and who else? Well, Booker was close to my age at that time too. And I think there was about 5 of us all together, maybe about 5 young cats that were just, now was young, Now they don't have no more young ones in that anymore. When I got back, everybody had scattered off and stuff. That's the way that was.
So why do you think the doo-wop declined? I mean, because you already told about Frank Pagnon not being well anymore, but why do you think eventually the doo-wop declined?
Well, they stopped using the, how would you say it? They stopped treating the customers and the musicians different than what Frank was treating them. See, Frank was a real nice dude. He, but then they started, not liking certain musicians coming in and stuff. And then they started changing the rules where they stopped at 2:00. They would have no more jam sessions, and stuff like that. And so it just started declining. It just didn't, work out right. That's what I said too. I've learned that if a cat run a club a certain way, and he see where he's making money, it's hard for someone else to come in and change the rules when if a lot of people been coming to that place and they know this been going on and all that, and then they get there and they see something different, well, it kind of runs them away. It's like the Leaf, since Hank didn't have it, you have musicians coming and coming and coming. Now, if Hank was to sell this place to somebody else, I doubt if it would have the kind of clientele that it do have. Because I don't think nobody would be able to handle the people with respect and understanding the way, Hank did. That's the same way Frank was. He was the nicest person you ever want to meet until you upset him with some crazy stuff. And then he'll bogart you from it. He'll tell you, you can't come no more. But they liked him. He was a real nice person. He very seldom raised his voice. People, said he had a thing where he put his hands up. I don't like that shit. I don't like that. You got to get away from that for that. It was kids. Everybody knew him from that. You know what I'm saying? He was one case man. Don't get him drunk, but you think he was this show. He was having fun. He'd keep you laughing. He'd have something to say. But it was really nice, though. When his daughter took it over, it kind of started going to the other thing. I didn't play that much when she was there. I didn't play that much there. By that time, I had formed my own band. Then I was allowed to travel myself. But I wish that club would have been still, live like it was, because they had some real nice shows come through there. You had sometimes you had people from up New York to come down and to put on a show and all this thing, you know. It had a lot of good things happening, man, you know. Wasn't a dull moment, I tell you that. Oh no, wasn't no dull moments at all.
The grandson, Kenneth Jackson, actually owns the place now, and he is trying to reconstruct it and reopen it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I hope they do open it, and I hope that he can bring back the tradition of it, you know, because it's a nice club. And then since then, you know, everything around there has been cleaned up a little bit better. The project ain't as bad as it used to be. And you don't have. Actually, that's the only club around there that they have, you know, that they're thinking about opening there. You know, because all the rest of them wasn't really hitting. Mostly had hotels, if anything, you know. See, Dewdrop had entertainment plus a hotel and plus a restaurant. And if they open it back up and they open it like they had it, like it was, I think they would do good, you know. But he would have to really, you know, talk, you know, do some real good publicizing and stuff. Let them know that it's. But I've done a couple of gigs since it's been closed there, but it only opened up when it's a rare occasion there. But it'd be nice if it was open up full time. It'd be real nice.
But do you think it can be a viable business again?
Yeah, if they go about it right, if they do the right advertisement, you know, and you know, and have the right people, you know, doing the right things, it could really open up. Yeah, it could really, you know, come back to where it was. You know, especially if they open it up to be a nightclub, you know, instead of just a basic club. You know, if they open it up to be a nightclub like it was, oh yeah. There's a lot of people, trust me, there's a lot of people wish the Dewdrop would open again. You know, because, you know, in that area, they don't have no kind of entertainment at all in that area. The Dewdrop was the only entertainment club in that area. You know, which didn't have a couple of clubs that tried to open up, but they didn't last long because they didn't have the right clientele of people, and then they didn't really know how to project it like the Dewdrop was. You know, the Dewdrop was like one of the first black clubs that had entertainment, you know. Now you had back of town, you had the Tijuana and all those places, but it wasn't like the Dewdrop. You know, the Dewdrop was one of the biggest clubs in New Orleans, you know, especially uptown area. You know, and then, you know, I gotta say, Frank was one of the best cats you could ever meet. You know, well, if you'd have met him, you'd yes, I see why the club was staying so open so fast. So like he was really a good person. You know, that's what I liked about it. And I think that's what made the Dewdrop famous through him. You know, and then, you know, having musicians come through, you know, but mainly it was him because of the way he was and the way he, you know, treated people and stuff, the way he did things. You know. And all the musicians liked it. You know, they all liked it. And then, well, none that didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? And he, you know, he treated them nice. You know, especially if you was from out of town, you know, and you didn't have nowhere to stay. You know, you give you somewhere to stay, feed you. You know, but you had to work. You just couldn't come in there and just lay around and not do nothing. You had to work. You know. If you were a musician, you got to work. If you was a waiter, or you did some kind of, he put you to work waiting tables and shit like that and stuff. And if you was a singing waiter, you did that because we had this one cat, I can't think of his name right now. He came in there, and he was a Harold, I think his name was. He would come in there and he told Frank, I was sitting there, he told Frank, man, I don't do no singing, but I can wait on tables and I can MC. So when he put him to work that same night, he, you know, MCing and waiting on tables when he wasn't there, nothing, you know. Then they had this other Patsy Valdez, she was in there. She was the first one that was doing the MCing and stuff. Well, she got kind of mad, but they soon worked it out, you know. So that was the only real incident like that, you know, that happened. You know, other than that, shit, everybody got along, you know. Then they had another cat come in there called Google Eyes. Well, his cat was, he was one of the MCs, you know, that it was kind of big eyes, right? He put them big eyes on, and crack jokes and stuff, and try to sing too. He'd be singing this song, like be throwing his coat all kinds of ways and shit. Well, but he was good, you know. But you know, they had about four different MCs come in through that, you know, when I was there. But they all was crazy too, you know. Kept you laughing. And then they had comedy acts come in. And one cat had one of these little people that you sit on your lap and they be talking. Had a couple of them come through there. Yeah, well, that's a place. That was a place. Definitely you had real good entertainment 6 nights a week. Definitely had it. And you know, you got paid, you know. It wasn't much, but you got paid. At least it wasn't no $10, you know. You got paid. Yeah, I made from $40 to $50 a night, just playing that. You know. And 4 hours was nothing, you know. You play like 2 hours, then you take a half an hour break, then you play another 2 hours, and you're off. Not like today. You play an hour, take a half an hour break. You know, play another hour, take a half an hour break. You know, then what the day is.
So which plays would be comparable nowadays to the Peter?
This one, the make believe. That's about the only one I could think of. Well, you have a lot. You know, you have a lot of clubs, but this is the only club that you definitely have entertainment 6 nights, almost 7 nights a week. You know. Except for Sunday, they have the theater act things going on. But other than that, you have music every night. Yeah, every night. But if the Dewdrop open up, it's going to be 2 clubs that I know. That I know going to have entertainment. You know, that's for sure.
So there's really need for another Dewdrop, isn't
Oh yeah, it is. It really is. Definitely need another one. So, you know, musicians, you don't have too many musicians. They don't have too many clubs that have nightclub acts. Now you have what is Donna's, not Donna's, over there on Rampart Street. They have that club over there. Now they have, you know, real nightclub shows, but that's downtown. You know, they have none uptown clubs. You know, none until if the Dewdrop open up, back up again, I just hope that they do it like that. You know, instead of just having it as a regular club. You know what I'm saying? Have it as a didn't have a uniform. You just had to have a suit on, and make sure you had a tie. Oh yeah, that's where I learned it. I believe in going on the gig with a suit and tie on. You know, because. Like Frank used to tell us all the time, he said, bro, if you want to get recognition, you got to dress the part. He said, you got people up there, you know, you have a lot of musicians, man, can play their ass off, but they don't dress right. You know, they dress, and he said, that's where you get your recognition from the way. If you could play, you dress the part of playing. You know? And I grew up with that understanding of it. You know, I grew up with that. You know? It's just been a treat for me to be able to, because, you know, I've seen a lot of good musicians, you know, don't get a chance, or because they go in to get tennis shoes on, T-shirts or something like that. All that don't look right. It just don't look professional. And I've been a professional since I was 22. I'm 61 now, so you know, I done got used to it now. It's just there. I can't help it, you know. Just got to deal with it. And that's what the Dewdrop taught me, a lot of professional things. You know, I used to watch them cats and come in there and I said, wow, if I could only do that, you know. Johnny bought me my first real suit, so I wore that suit for almost a year before I bought me another one. You know, I didn't like to spend money. I still don't like to spend money. You know what I'm saying? But I actually spend it, but. You know, but it's good to be able to dress. You know, and that was the dress code at the Dewdrop. You got up on that stage, you had to have a suit and tie on. You know, nobody come up there with no shorts and all that stuff. You know, ladies with the dresses and stuff. You know, It was, that's the kind of place it was, you know. When you walked in it, you knew you was walking into a nightclub. You know, by the great chair at the door, you know, so your seat, said, you know, way back then, you see, and then, you know, if you wanted to order something to eat, you could order and bring it to the table and stuff like that. It was really a good place to be at, you know, really a good place. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. I appreciate talking about the Good Drop. But you know, the drop to me was like going to the Apollo Theater. You know, if you can get in there and you get in good and you can learn and you start, you know, being recognized. You know, really being recognized for the things that you do. You know, like when I left to do that, the first gig I had was at the Apollo Theater. I felt comfortable going there, even though that was my dream when I was small. You know, and even when I was even smaller, and my cousin used to come home and tell me about the dewdrop and stuff. And when Johnny offered to get me a room there and told me I'd be working with the house band, that was the best treat I could ever get. You know, to know I was being with the big boys. You know, it was like to me a treat in my life. And then after that, it was smooth sailing, going higher and higher and higher. Yeah, going higher and higher. But the dewdrop it gave a lot. It gave a lot of the older musicians of today. It gave them they start. You know, you can ask all of them Fats, all of them Irma, all of them. Irma even got her debut there at the dewdrop. You know, and I mean a whole lot of them. What his name? Oliver. He the Carnival Time. Yeah, Johnson. He started there. You know, all these guys, they started right there. You know, Honey Cato. Oh man, a whole bunch of them. Fats before he got famous, he started there. You know, that's when he really got recognition for doing what he was doing. You know, all them guys, Booker, Professor Longhair, all them guys. You know, that's how they got where they got their start from. You know, and Frank did a lot for the New Orleans musicians. That if you was any kind of musician and you went to a dewdrop, from that point on, your career was going somewhere. You know, it was going up. You know, it wasn't going to just stay down. You know, that's what I loved about it. Yep. That is my story. That's my story. I wish it would come. I wish it would open up again. I think it would. With the musicians that's coming up today, it would be a treat for them. You know, if they had a chance to say, "I played at the dewdrop." You know, it'd be something that they could say. You know, and knowing that it really happened. You know. For the longest, I used to pass by that club and say, "Oh man, I wish it had opened up again." You know, and what that was year before last, they had. That's when they started having little special events going on. You know, and stuff. So now they're talking about going to open it up again. Okay, that would be the right thing to do. You know, because if it don't, you know, it go down where nobody really recognizes it anymore. You know, especially the younger musicians. You know what I'm saying? And if they get a chance to play that, it would open up their eyes to, you know, what it is. You know, especially if they have the rules that they had at that time. You know, cats come in there and instead of, you know, suits, you come on in there. You know, no matter what color suit it is, as long as it was a suit, tie. You know, it's just respect for yourself. You know, if you give respect to yourself, it's gonna automatically come back to you. You know, and I learned that from there. You know, you had to you had to have a suit on. If you didn't have a suit on, you couldn't get up on that stage. You know, you definitely had a suit. Then the musicians in them days, they played together. You know, you had one cat wasn't the out one that stayed out, played louder than the other. Everybody played together. You know, and it made it comfortable. You know, for everybody to hear everybody and appreciate everybody. You know, yeah, absolutely. They had one song that they would play. That was they call it My Girl. It was out there, when I was there. And they played that song. If they didn't play that song 99 times a day, they played that song over and over and over. And that was their favorite song in the Dewdrop. Yeah, that's my story.
Your story's great. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Do a ball track? Can you recall My Girl?
Huh?
Can you recall the song?
Yeah, but I'm not a good singer. What they call it, acapella. My girl, I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Everybody's loved that song. I do too. I sing it. I did. You know what I'm saying? That's my version. Yes, I did. Is that it? I can take me another drink.
Drink, you can smoke.
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
Let's do 20 seconds or so of ball track.
Hmm?
We just sit quiet because of the background noise. We
Yeah.
just want like 20 seconds. No talk.
I like your version.
Oh, yeah? Oh, thank you.
Your voice, man.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've been trying. I'm not too much of a cappella singer.
You don't need a band.
I told you I'm shy a little, so, that go along with the program. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Just one favour, I should say. Just reach and pick up your drink.
Huh?
You just reach and pick up your
That's it.
Slightly odd request, I realise.
Oh, all right, okay. Yes, Lord.
Would you care for another drink from the treat you?
Well, not right now, but okay. Yeah, I heard the last part. Yeah,
Another Jack and
another Jack and Coke, that'll work for me.
let's treat you for another Jack and Coke.
Yes, indeed.